Now, going back to an earlier time, what led you to become involved in the life of the community?
Yeah, I was, first 5 or 6 years of practicing law, I just was doing everything I could to survive, basically, staying up with things. And then I went to an event on 4th and Walnut, 4th and Ali in Louisville, where they were celebrating Thomas Merton's epiphany, and they put a historic marker up for that epiphany. And literally, when I was sitting in the church for that event, I was thinking of Martin Luther King and his dream speech in Washington, D.C., because the 40th anniversary of that was coming up in 2008. And I just read the book, The Tipping Point, and he talked about sticky messages and telling stories. So I wrote a letter to Congresswoman Northup, and I said, Merton transformed this space in Louisville, Dr. King transformed this space in Washington, D.C., and I'd love to bring my unborn children and tell them, I'll tear up, tell them about Dr. King and Abraham Lincoln, because the most famous speech of the 20th century was at the Lincoln Memorial, where King talked about his dream. And believe it or not, there wasn't any kind of historic marker for that event.
Yes, and we'll talk about that, and we have a beautiful picture we'll show shortly about that. And you did bring your son to that.
Yeah, so I wrote this letter, and Northup's office didn't believe that it actually wasn't there, so they went and checked it, and they asked if we could have permission to move forward with it. And I said, of course. And so what ended up happening was Congresswoman Northup put in a resolution that was signed by Strom Thurmond, which is the part of the story that people really love. The man who had the longest filibuster in the history of Congress signed a law honoring Dr. King in his dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial, which was in favor of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So Thurmond signed this law, and I wrote a note when the law was passed and said, they said they would take donations for it. And I said I wanted to make a donation, and I met the man at the Lincoln Memorial who was responsible for the event, and he said he liked my story. So he gave me an opportunity to give a speech along with Mrs. King and John Lewis, and basically I got a chance to tell the story of how the moment came to me. And what came to me later was I had no idea that Thomas Merton and Dr. King actually had been correspondents while they were living.
Okay.
And had King survived the Sanitation Workers March, what I've learned is that he and Merton were going to have a retreat together. So I think, one of the things I'm good at is just kind of emptying myself and putting my radar up and picking up on what's going on
Absolutely.
around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to offer this out now. This is a picture with your son Lincoln, and there's the marker.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And we have also the signed by Strom Thurmond. Pretty cool. Amazing. Amazing stuff, man.